Chapter the 17th Seat, Part 2, Fractures at the Table. For a moment after Arthur's declaration, no one spoke. The torches lining the chamber walls flickered with uneasy light, their flames bending slightly toward the cracks in the map, carved into the ancient table. The violet glow pulsed faintly beneath the stone like a heartbeat. 10. 10 acts of chaos already committed. 2 more and the world itself would slip its chains. Arthur Pendragon slowly sat in his chair. "Then we begin with the most important question," the king said. His gaze swept across the circle. "Who is responsible for the first 10? The room erupted immediately. "That hardly matters." Duchess Crystal spoke lazily, inspecting one of her glowing rings, as if the fate of reality were mildly inconvenient. "Chaos births chaos. It doesn't need a mastermind." Morticia Golderflet turned toward her. The Pope of Order did not raise her voice. She did not need to. "You are wrong." The simple words carried the weight of divine authority. Morticia gestured toward the glowing fractures. 12 awakenings placed with deliberate timing. Planar fractures appearing near political and divine centers of power. Her golden eyes narrowed slightly. "This is strategy," Crystal smirked. "Or coincidence." Across the table, Lady Cindervale leaned forward, her crimson cloak rustling like embers. Coincidences do not tear open planar fabric. Her eyes glowed faintly with ancient magic. "I have lived through 2 ages of gods." Her voice carried quiet authority. "This feels like war." Fengxia Jiayan perked up immediately. "Oh, good." Cindervale slowly turned her head toward her student. Fengxia gave an enthusiastic thumbs up. "I understand war." Legate Shim tapped his brass device again. The projection above the table shifted. 10 glowing marks appeared across the continent. Cities, sacred lands, guild territories, each one marked by a pulse of unstable energy. "These," Legate said calmly, "are the locations of the 10 known awakenings." Several members of the council leaned closer. Gen Liu tilted his chair back slightly as he studied the map. The young guildmaster of the Windmill City smiled faintly. "Interesting pattern." Arthur glanced toward him. "You see something?" Gen pointed lazily at 3 of the glowing points. Undead outbreaks near the Temple of the Sun. Then 2 more. Elemental disturbances along trade routes. Another, Feywild fissures expanding near sacred groves. He tapped the table lightly. "Someone is destabilizing every power structure on the continent." Unicorn Princess Mirabelle lowered her head slightly. "Yes." Her voice was quiet. "My forests are not the only places changing." She looked toward Noira Starlight. "You've seen it as well?" Noira nodded slowly. The young master of the sacred grove folded his hands calmly. "Creatures that once lived peacefully now attack without reason." He paused. "And plants that should not exist in this world are beginning to grow." A chill ran through the chamber. "Chaos corruption spreads through nature faster than through cities." Vinivin Francia rubbed her temples. "Planar roots," she sighed, "if the land itself starts to shift." She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. Everyone present understood. Continents did not survive planar migrations. A chair scraped across the floor. Gon, Dragon's child, stood. The towering half-dragon's presence instantly shifted the atmosphere of the room. Storm magic flickered faintly around his shoulders. "Then we must speak of the Shadowlands." Several council members turned toward him. Gon rested both hands on the table. "For centuries my order has kept the demons sealed behind the White Mountains." His blue-scaled eyes were sharp. "But in the last month," he paused, "they have stopped attacking." That statement hung in the air like a blade. Lady Cindervale frowned. "Demons do not stop attacking." Gon nodded. "Exactly." He turned toward Gavriel Egorov. "You have seen it too." Gavriel crossed her arms slowly. The Guildmaster of Stormkeep looked more troubled than before. "The skull of the fallen demon god has begun to resonate." Several people in the room stiffened. Arthur frowned. "That relic has been inert for centuries." Gavriel nodded. "Until now." Her eyes drifted to the map. "I believe the bestial gods are waking as well." That statement hit the room like thunder. Crystal laughed. Actually laughed. "Oh, please." She leaned back in her chair. "The bestial gods are dead." Morticia's gaze turned cold. "They were sealed." Crystal waved a hand dismissively. "Same difference." Strina Belspepper suddenly floated slightly higher in her chair, wings buzzing anxiously. The Fairy Guild Master of Emerald City looked deeply unsettled. That may not be correct." Crystal slowly turned toward her. Strina hesitated, then spoke. The magic flows in the Emerald Valley have changed. The room listened carefully now. Strina swallowed. It feels like old magic. Lady Cindervale went very still. Impossible. Strina shook her head nervously. I know, but it's there. Silence returned, a heavier silence than before. Arthur finally spoke again. If chaos gods are awakening... He looked around the circle, and the bestial gods are stirring. His gaze hardened. Then we are facing something far worse than planar drift. Legat Shim quietly finished the thought. A divine arms race. Fengxia Jian leaned forward excitedly. Oh, now this is getting interesting. Cindervale sighed deeply. Then Helen Mirror spoke again. Soft. Hesitant. But the gold saint clasped her hands nervously. If someone is organizing this, her eyes moved slowly around the room. Could they be here? The chamber went completely silent. 17 people, 17 powers, 17 possible traitors. The torches flickered violently. Outside the castle, thunder rolled again, this time much closer, and beneath the table, the violet cracks in the ancient map pulsed brighter. For just a moment, the continent carved into the stone shifted slightly, as if the world itself had begun to move.